Shall we begin?
We shall.
Mr. Darty, what we're going to do today is a walkthrough. A walkthrough of the design process, and the reason we're doing that is because the design process is really difficult. It's really difficult to understand because it's not like your normal school classroom. It's not a step by step following one after the other all the way through, because you're jumping all over the place. We have four main things that we look at. Okay, that's investigation, our ideas, evaluation and production, but they're not done in any specific order. I think maybe the investigation is usually done first, but that isn't necessarily the only time it's done.
Yeah.
It's done several times throughout the process. The same with ideas. Ideas keep coming up throughout the process.
Yep.
So what we're going to do today is a bit of a walkthrough, and we're going to base it on actually the next video that you will see. And well, the next video that you should see, you can watch them in any order you like. But the first thing we're going to ask you to do is to interview your client or your customer or the person that you're making this design for. And we have produced a video that shows you how to do that, where we interviewed Mr. Kerr. And we're going to take that and sort of step our way through.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so first thing we did was to sit down with Mr. Kerr, talk to him and ask him a whole lot of questions. Some of them were really cool answers that he gave us.
Yeah.
But from that, we're going to call that our first investigation.
Yep.
Okay, so investigation number one was to interview Mr. Kerr. Okay, so that's an interview I'm going to put up there. Okay, so now that we've interviewed him, we're actually going to throw out some ideas, both Mr. Darty and I. So,
Yeah.
after being there and watching that interview,
Yep.
is there anything that's jumped to your mind?
Well, the first thing that jumped to my mind, Mr. Anderson, was his love of film. Loves film.
Loves movies, got
Yeah.
a shed full of them.
Full of them. So that was the first real thing that really stood out to me with
so
Mr. Kerr's answers.
Can you put something up on the board that shows me what you're saying?
If I was to draw it,
Yeah.
I would probably draw a camera. That would be the first thing I thought of. So a very simple looking kind of camera. Similar to the picture that you have on your phone.
Okay.
For a chat, like a face-to-face chat.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So you're thinking camera. There's one of the things that Mr. Kerr stood out with Mr. Kerr. The thing that stood out to me was his love of chocolate. Okay, and one in particular, and I don't remember what it was, but it was a white chocolate.
Yeah, it was a
And
Cadbury Dream.
A Cadbury Dream. Okay, so that's the way a Cadbury Dream looks there. Okay, so there's the thing that came out to me as one of the things that jumped out.
Yeah.
Okay, something else from you?
Oh, something else from me. I'm going to build off my movie thing.
Okay, so go.
And we're going to go into, well, he has a favourite actor.
He has a favourite actor.
He does have a favourite actor,
Okay.
which was Tim Curry.
Yes.
So, building off that,
Okay.
maybe something like a face of, I don't know what Tim Curry looks like. Let's say that he looks like this.
Okay.
So Tim Curry.
Okay, so we've got Tim Curry, we've got a camera, we've got a block of chocolate. And there was lots of other stuff he spoke about.
His name.
His name.
His name.
The fact that he was named after
A surfer.
a surfer. So straight away, we've got to put down some sort of a surfboard, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm from the days when they only had two
Ah.
wings on them.
Well, they wouldn't have had a point on him either then, sir.
No, I'm not that far back. No, they were not Malibus, they were shortboards. Okay, so we have four different ways that we can go. Is there anything else that stood out about his?
Maybe the hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus, that's right.
We've got his favourite animal was a hippopotamus.
His favourite animal was a hippopotamus. So again, if we, I can't draw hippopotamuses, but if we think of a hippopotamus, do they have a really little tail? They do,
tiny little tail.
Okay, and so there's, and I think we should stop there for the moment.
Yep, so we've got 5 ideas.
So we've got 5 different things that the design can head towards. Okay, so that's our first idea. Our first part of our ideas is 5 different objects. Okay, how? Well, I'm going to take mine and I'm going to say, look at that chocolate, and straight away I'm thinking just the chocolate. But if I would like to personalize it, okay, we know because it's a part of the design process that this is going to end up some sort of a ball bearing maze. It's got to be a ball bearing maze. Okay, it's got to be either printed or routed on the CNC router or the CNC printer.
So these would be called what, limitations, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they're the limitations. Okay, so they're our limitations, which was a part, I guess, of our investigation. Or actually, when you think about it, we've done some ideas. Okay, we've come back to this, and we're going back to investigation just by the way we're talking.
Also our production.
And also our production. Okay, so now after these first few ideas, we're starting to move from there to there, from there to there, from there to there. Okay,
And then we'll probably also even go from here to here.
Even go from there to there. Okay, so all of these things are appearing. You're going to have to move into the. That's it. Okay, all of these things are becoming a part of what we're doing. I'm looking at the chocolate. I'd like now, if I was to choose that chocolate, but this is only one of our ideas, if I was going to choose that chocolate, I would want some way to personalise it to Mr. Kerr.
So we did mention his name with the surfer.
Yeah.
But there's another thing about his name.
Okay.
Which is quite unique.
Right.
And it's its spelling.
It is. It is.
Well, it's different.
It is different. Yeah.
It's not the typical way you spell his first name.
Spell Shane. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could embroid his name within the chocolate bar.
Okay. Well, we could actually embroid his name within any of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
That was what I was thinking.
To personalise, embroid name.
Embed name.
Embed name. Okay. How about we embed his image?
Or even his image, yeah, that's a great idea.
Image. I've got 2 G's in that now.
That's all right. Sometimes an image needs 2 G's.
Right. Okay, so embed his name, embed his image. Okay. We could do that not just in the chocolate bar.
No.
We could do that in any of these.
Oh, I was just thinking that as well.
Okay. Okay, so that there isn't restricted to any one of our ideas.
No.
So that's a new idea. So we're back into the idea section.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've come straight from here, back to there, back to the ideas.
Back to the ideas. Okay.
We've even evaluated a little bit.
How do you reckon we've evaluated?
Well, we've looked at a product and we've thought, how can we make this even more personal? So we evaluated our original product, so the chocolate bar,
yes,
which was a great idea.
Great.
We thought about it. We thought about it, and we're like, how can we make it even better? So we have gone from the investigation. So we went from the idea, went to the investigation. We then evaluated that because of our investigation, knowing that there's other aspects of it.
Yep.
And now we're back to the idea again, and we've edited it.
Okay. So the thing I guess we're trying to point out here is that the amount of stuff that's going on in just our little bit of a conversation or in your conversation, because a big part of doing this is working collaboratively.
We'll get there.
Oh, we will get there. Collaboratively with other members of the class, with other people. You know, if you can collaborate with your parents, you can collaborate with your friends, you can collaborate with who else?
Anyone, really.
Your customer.
Yes, exactly.
Because the customer's the most important person here, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
That's what we're making, that's what we are designing this for, to make it very specific for one person. Okay? You and I are making it for Mr. Kerr, and I'm actually very torn now. I've gone through and I've looked at these things, and I'm not, and I'm thinking that when I looked at these things, they're all things that interested me. Did you notice? Well, you didn't because you probably haven't watched it yet. But when you watch it, watch how Mr. Kerr's eyes light up when he talks about his movies and when he talks about his favourite actor.
I was thinking that exactly. Okay. And I was thinking, and the thing that struck me with the interview was his demeanour when he talked about his stroke, Tim Curry's stroke.
Yes.
If you go back, and he's very upset about it. You can tell that he's very upset because his favourite character, favourite actor. So I was thinking, if we build off this here,
okay,
I'm even going to change this straight away because I just thought about it better picture because it'll look more realistic. So you remember the old cameras? You might.
Well, hang on. Let's. We're falling into a big trap here.
Yeah.
Big trap.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've said these I'm not as happy with. Okay. But does that mean we go straight for that?
No, but I'm going to use some of your ideas from here.
Okay.
And I'll show you how.
Then please do.
Okay. So I'm going to change this image slightly to make it look more like an old-timey video movie projector. Okay. So you know the old movie projectors had these things on it?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to change the outside image like that. Okay. So that's the shape of our maze instead of just being a ball. Or a circle.
Or a square.
He loves Tim Curry.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to use this idea and this idea. Okay. Well, we're not going to do his name.
Right.
What I'm thinking is, if we start the ball here, it goes through a little tiny maze, and then it says in here, Tim Curry, and to solve the image, the ball will have to trace his name and spell it out to be able to get to the end.
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he'd really enjoy that.
I think he would enjoy that. So there is one great idea.
And it came from everything.
True, but is it enough?
I don't know.
Do you think that is as far as we can go?
No, we can definitely go further.
We can definitely go further.
Yeah, we can definitely go further.
So let's investigate that. Okay. Back to investigation. Okay. So we've found half a dozen things, and now what is there to investigate or look at when it comes to number one? Well, let's do this. Let's take that camera, and I'm going to say instead of the Tim Curry in the middle with the name, or as well as, okay, I'd like to take his image.
Tim Curry's image?
And put it over the top of the maze, so that at times the ball disappears.
And you can't see the ball.
You can't see the ball, but it still can follow his name along.
I like that.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at that. Okay. If we chose, and I really don't think we should, but because of time, if we chose to do that, okay, how are we going to do that, to produce it? Because I know the limitations of Tinkercad.
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible to draw this in Tinkercad?
I think it is. I think the name is possible. Right. I'm a little bit skeptical about the image.
Right.
But I'm sure there is, because there's a option that you can do like spelling, like you can freehand.
Right.
In Tinkercad. So we could utilize that.
Okay, you think you could freehand that?
I could attempt to freehand that. But it's all coming to our production, isn't it? What are we using? What are we doing?
Well, currently we've got two possibilities. We've got two options.
Yeah.
We've got the ability to use the 3D printer. Come into the... I'm in the... the ability to use the printer.
Yep.
And the ability to use the
Tinkercad.
router.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now if you choose the router, you've got to use a more difficult program to draw it.
Yep.
If you choose
Oh,
The
I see what
printer,
you're saying.
if you choose the printer, you've got the Tinkercad program to use it.
Yeah.
If you choose to use Tinkercad, you can actually, if you've got a good hand and can actually draw that, you can scan it in and have that drawing that you've drawn and put that into Tinkercad and make it extend or extrude. So it's possible to be able to do that, in my mind, by actually drawing it out on a piece of paper. But then you've got to be pretty precise drawing. And you've got to really know what you're doing.
That's
okay. And when it comes to artwork. But there's probably or possibly also images online.
Exactly.
That you could scan in. You could scan in or take the photo, the image from the online. So again, have you picked up what we're doing here? Yeah,
I've picked it up.
Okay, we've got production. And we've come back to investigation again.
We've also evaluated it.
We've evaluated a few times. We evaluated. There's no drawings.
We haven't pointed to it enough, but we have. Yeah. We evaluated a lot.
We evaluated that.
Essentially, every time we get an idea, we then evaluate it, and then we go back to our investigation, and then we think about our production. How are we going to make that though? And then we've got to evaluate that again. So back to what you were saying before, with you can choose two ways. The printer or the router. You got to think about the limitations of each of them. Because the router won't be able to have the image that goes over the top of the name.
Oh, see? And
because
again, we come back to investigation, because I can tell you, yes, the router can.
Would it be able to...
Oh, not put over the top.
Yeah, that's why I was like having a shield.
But yes, it could. So again, back to evaluation production. Will we be able to put the image over the name?
I guess if you use two pieces
If you use a piece of acrylic
over
the
then
top
you cut
and
it out
use
with
the router to
course.
put the image in. Okay, so there's lots of stuff that you can do.
Okay, yep, I see what you're saying.
Okay, but it's starting to get a bit more difficult. But as we've gone through, we've gone investigate, production, evaluation, ideas, and we've kept coming backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And our problem was make a
maze
for
Mr. Kerr.
4. Okay, and yours will be for the person that you choose. And I don't know. Do you think we've explained it? We've been trying to, because it's the hardest part of design, understanding that it isn't a step-by-step thing.
It's not linear.
It's not linear.
It's not linear
It's
at
not
all.
linear at all.
No.
Your thinking is going to be jumping all over the place, and that's what confuses people. They see this and they think, we're not. We have to go there, 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 and there. You're not. You're going to be going all over the place, backwards and forwards, as much as you want. And you can spend as long as you want. Mr. Darty and I have just spent 20 minutes, where in reality, when you think of the interview, when you think of the scamper that we've done, when you think of the analysing, this could be hours and hours and hours of work.
And the hours that we think about this afterwards.
And the hours that you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning going, oh, I've got a great idea. And if that ever happens, by the way, write it down, because you won't forget it in the morning.
The good word there is re-investigate, re-evaluate.
Very good, Mr. Wilshaw. Re-investigate, re-idea, re-evaluate, and reproduce. And with that, we've just about hit our time. But that is the design process, brought to you by Mr. Darty, Mr. Anderson, and our cameraman, Mr. Wilshaw. Have fun. This is what this subject is all about. It's about having fun and making stuff. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Okay, we'll see you later, guys.